Epic
Yo.
Events, and today we have our brother Connor.
Everyone, welcome Connor.
What up? What up? Long overdue. Long overdue.
Long.
And
Yes,
for
absolutely.
those who don't know, Connor was actually the first collaboration that we ever did as a band.
First ever feature.
Yeah,
Hey.
so
Round of applause.
if you guys
Yep.
hear Safe by Grace in our creation album, he is the rapper that comes out. He is an awesome rapper. He's been touring the nation, doing a bunch of conferences. He's got his tour that was supposed to go this summer, right? But with the virus and all that stuff, that kind of.
We'll see. Nothing's been canceled yet. So,
Oh, yeah.
which
Oh,
I think it's inevitable, but I've got no formal cancellations. So
Awesome. That's
we'll
great,
see.
man. That's good to hear too, because like
Interesting.
ours is ours is that was up in the air, man. Like we don't even know yet.
yeah.
That one event in October that's already got wiped out. At least for now.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're hearing a lot of
Yeah,
other
but
things
anyway,
like that.
prayer. And we can get on the show on the road. So in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Thank you, Lord, for having us here today with Connor. Thank you for everything that you do for us. Thank you for keeping us healthy and safe. We ask that you keep watching over those who are suffering at this moment, that you may lay your hands upon them, and may you get them healthy soon as possible. And we also ask that you get rid of this whole pandemic as soon as it can possibly happen. And we say this in your name, Amen.
Amen.
Awesome,
Amen.
brother.
It's good
Man.
to have you on here, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's good to be here.
it's been a long time since we actually like all got together, and like actually I don't even know if we've actually gotten together to like just talk personally, right?
I mean, I feel like the most intimate interactions I've had with Epic have probably been through Instagram. So, I mean,
Right through IG Live.
Fair.
And through you throwing all the support via comments that we can possibly get. Always very appreciated.
Brother, how's everything been for you, man? How's everything over there in Minnesota?
It's good. We got like another dose of winter, which on top of everything else was just like the straw that broke the camel's back. It was like, I've been working from home, and weather started to get nicer. It was like 50 and sunny, and then Holy Saturday it was 50 and sunny outside all day, and then we wake up Easter Sunday and we had 7 inches of snow.
Oh my goodness.
So it was just like, but it's good. We're for an uncertain time, it's nice to be able to be with my family like all the time, like 24/7.
Oh yeah.
It'd be way different if like if I did work in the hospital, or if I was on the front lines, or like shout out to all those people who are pouring their hearts into the economy right now and into but for us it's been a blessing in that like we've just gotten to grow as a family, and
definitely.
And it comes with its struggles too, but it's been really good. So
that's so good, man. I mean,
by the way, bro, I admire you, because like every time there's snow over there, you're building slides for your daughters, and like, man, you guys look like
no.
Ball over.
That's for me. That's not for my daughter. Last year when I grew up doing all that kind of stuff, and so last year when I built like this big slide thing in the backyard, I justified it by saying like, oh yeah, it's for my daughter Hadley, and she was 1, like she was way too little, and Katie, my wife, kept just saying, she's like, it's for you, like you're doing this for yourself,
I love that.
But this year the girls were old enough to enjoy it.
Oh man,
that's amazing. You got your very own X Games in your backyard.
For real, man, it's a blast. You got to get through winter somehow.
And on Easter, 6 inches of snow. Easter is unheard of over here in South Korea.
Oh man,
that's
crazy. It's melting.
For real.
It's melting now, and it'll be back. Like it'll be back into the 50s this weekend. But yeah, so like there's no. It's kind of like June. I would say June, July, and August. Second half of May are like guaranteed your normal, what you would expect, like warm weather. anything outside of that window is like,
Oh.
you just don't know if it's gonna snow at any time.
Wow.
It can snow at any time.
Like rain.
So,
Rain. We're like, is it gonna rain today?
Oh, man.
It might rain for 10 minutes and then never rain again. It's crazy.
man,
Bro, and can I mention that another thing that I really admire of you, bro, is the amount of creativity that you have, bro. Like for real, that like in this moment that we're in right now, and bro, the house tour of my house tour, like that's genius, bro. Like, yeah, you can't get out, but might as well
yeah.
do a tour in your house, right?
Yeah, I just wanted some way to like keep playing music, and it was I mean it's probably my I mean I work full time in marketing,
Mhm.
so like it's my marketing brain firing. Um Sometimes I feel that like actually my music is the weakest link in terms of like the music business I'm trying to build, like the
Mhm.
actual songs themselves. Like writing is not my
Mhm.
strength. Like I love writing, but writing is very much like working out for me. Like I gotta like lift every day to get stronger. I gotta write like every day to get better. Whereas the creative side of it, like the
Mhm.
branding and the videos and that kind of stuff, is way quicker for me. So
That's amazing.
so
No,
I,
but
I try
Mhm.
to make things look better than they actually are.
Nice. Nice.
no, but that's actually really good. Like I remember we were looking at some of your promotional stuff for I'm trying to remember which IDK.
Mhm.
The single that you released not too long ago. And we were looking at some of the promotional stuff. You had Baby Yoda going
Oh my
on.
gosh,
You had
yes.
Kanye bump into it.
Yes, with the
And
Yeah.
Mandalorian
we
scene.
were
That's freaking
all in love
brilliant,
with that.
dude.
We thought it was amazing.
Well, and let the record show, I don't think I started that trend, but now if you upload a song through DistroKid, you guys do DistroKid at
Uh,
all?
no, we do see the baby.
Okay. Well, DistroKid started implementing that Baby Yoda thing as a
Oh,
built-in,
really?
like
Oh my
like
god.
they'll do it for you. Like you upload a single and they'll like insert it
Oh,
into that scene and then you can download it to promote your song.
Oh
And
man.
I was like, I don't I mean there's no
that's
way I started that
dope.
trend, but I'm just saying I didn't find it on DistroKid.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I
That's
think we might have to switch over to DistroKid. I'm saying.
oh, Baby Yoda? I mean, how
Come
how
on.
can you
Hey, but that's great, man. And bro, so how's everything been, as far as your creative side, and especially now that we're just kind of, because you told me we had been already we have the stay at home. Well, we have safer at home. I don't know what's the difference between safer at home and stay at home, but
Yeah.
you told me that you were still kind of like um just kind of like overseeing what was going on. Like you still didn't have that many cases over there. So how has everything changed from that moment until now, and especially with your creativity and all that stuff that's going on?
Yeah, well, I mean, Minnesota, like we've been under that like stay-at-home order now for a month, maybe a little more than a month, and it just got extended to the beginning of May.
Mhm.
Um, and who knows if it'll get extended past that. So in
Mm.
Minnesota, it's funny, like we've actually been one of the better states. We haven't had a crazy number of cases. I mean, it still has hit here and people have passed and whatnot.
Mhm.
So I don't want to say that like lightly at all, but
of course.
all things
Yeah,
considered,
yeah.
it's been one of the better states. Um, but for me, it's the house tour thing was something that I wanted to dive into, and that was like, I mean, that's over now, but that was so good for me on a number of levels because I had to like relearn all my songs on guitar, like songs that I haven't played in 4 or 5 years. I mean, I'm like minutes to like going live on Facebook. I'm just like, oh man, what are the lyrics to these songs? And
That's how it goes.
oh dude, it was brutal. But it was just good. It was just kind of like my music as the economy kind of like slows down and turns inward and families slow down and turn inward. I felt like even just very, very specifically like my music has slowed down and turned inward, and I got to just kind of revisit like the meanings behind all these songs, the
Mhm.
stories, why I wrote them to begin with, and like strip away any sort of production elements and just tell the stories and pray with them, and it was like
Mhm.
really good for me.
Mhm.
That's
Um,
good.
Right, right.
That's
so so it's been making me want to just write more acoustic stuff. I want
That's a
to I want
blessing.
to release I want to release like probably 15 acoustic singles
wow.
of
That's
just
awesome.
just like all my old stuff, just like
Mhm.
set up a mic and just doing one a day for the next couple weeks and
Yeah.
because yeah, so I feel like there's still a lot of stuff I can do.
Yeah, that'd be killer.
Here, you
That's
know?
what's up, man. I mean, and it's crazy because I think for a lot of people, and obviously like the whole situation itself, I mean, it is. I mean, so many people are suffering, so many people are in pain right now. But something that we've been trying to keep as a through line throughout this situation, and when we've been getting on these lives with artist friends of ours, is to encourage people that the Lord is working through this time. You know what I mean? And it's like He's, for a lot of us, like we're going back to the start of things, like we're going back to the core, we're going back to the center, which is Christ, right? He should be in the like in the through line through all of our music and all of our friends that have come on here, is that Christ is at the center of it, right?
Mm.
So we're coming back to the center. In a lot of ways, I feel like the church is being in this time refined and purified, and especially as artists, and God is working through this time. He's bringing families together. He's healing family relationships, friend relationships, just things going on around the earth. So even in the midst of turmoil and where it looks like there's no light at the end of the tunnel, almost like God is working, and we're trying to constantly remind people, encourage that them that things are in His control, and He will work through it.
Yeah, it's if you would have ever told me that, if you would have ever told me that professional sports would shut down in my lifetime, I would have put so much money on the fact that it wouldn't. Like I would have, I mean, seriously, like what would it take to shut down the NBA and all this stuff? And so it is interesting,
bro.
In the midst of all the suffering and all the people who are losing jobs, like it's like, all right, God, what are you up to? Like what are you going to do with all this?
Right.
What about, how has it affected you guys from a band? I mean, you guys obviously aren't playing live. Are you digging into a season of writing, or just maybe you're just kicking it? Maybe you just need to kick it. What have you guys been doing?
So we actually the first 3 weeks we were just kind of like figuring out like what we were gonna do per se, since we're a band, so we can't really do things on and so it's like now we gotta get more creative in the sense of how we're gonna get things done, right? But it's been crazy because we at first didn't really start. We had something that we were working on and we wanted to record and release, and then all of this hit. And what we focused more was on community, like especially with the live streams. We've kind of seen how God was telling us to work in the beginning, and it's just kind of like, okay, this moment, don't just work on yourself, work on getting closer to me, and also work on getting closer to everybody that's in your field, everybody that's an artist. Talk to them, and I feel like that's been a really important part on where we're going forward. Because I mean, last night we had a writing session and we literally wrote the song like nothing, right? We started with a prayer, and things just started flowing, man, and it was crazy. I felt like it was definitely God working in there, and I feel like a lot of people are expressing that too, because we're now spending more time with the Lord, and since we have so much time in our hands, it's like we're, in a sense, I would say it sounds bad, but in a sense we're forced to do it.
Right.
Not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's like the Lord has literally told the earth, and it's crazy. It's like He's literally told the earth, "Peace, be still," kind of thing. Like everyone is still, like no one's moving around. People were, we go through our busy lives each and every single day, and it's crazy that we don't find time to spend like intimate moments with the Lord, and we don't have time to like get to that secret place, right? Like how Scripture talks about it, going to your secret place. And I think that's been so key during this time, is that now like being in a place where you can carve out this time to have that time in your secret place every single day, and hopefully we can take that back into the daily life, where the busyness comes up, and then but you gotta kind of quiet everything down and stop and smell the roses and just offer it up to the Lord.
Yeah. What's been the biggest?
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that.
Sorry, go ahead. I got a delay.
Oh no, yours. I got a bit of delay too. You're good. No, it was just funny you mentioned that, Ricky, because like even before this quarantine, like Ricky and I were actually taking up Exodus 90, this like spiritual exercise where it's precisely geared towards that. So it's like on top of that, we have this quarantine where it's like now is a chance for everybody to, kind of take in that silence and, hopefully hear God with his invitation, because it's like, yeah, a lot of times in our daily lives, and that's really the point of the program too. Like, I know we've mentioned it a lot in like live streams, and it's like, we're not sponsored by them or anything, but like, it's just been like, I think I can speak for the both of us when I just a disclaimer there. Yeah. But I think I can speak for Ricky and myself when I say like, it's been bearing a lot of fruit for us. In growing in our relationship with God. Like, I know for myself, like, some of my most fruitful moments in my relationship with God was when I dedicated time to silent prayer, even if it was just a few days at a time. Like, I don't remember the last time I felt that at peace. So, like, having that as part of the program was something I was personally looking forward to. And it's like, even being here, it has been a struggle to keep that up consistently. I will admit that. But even then, like, I still feel like drawn back to that. And, hopefully people are taking that in for the season as, as drawing back in, you know?
And I have to mention real quick that it does help with the NBA being postponed. That
yeah, that's not fair, man. This doesn't sound good for you guys.
To be honest, I was like, man, like one of the biggest drawbacks for me going into Exodus 90, and thanks be to God, we're on day 46 right now, so halfway through. But praise be to him. But one of the biggest drawbacks was like, I'm gonna miss the NBA playoffs, and now the whole NBA season got postponed, and I was like, Lord, you did something there. You did something for me.
This whole thing's for Ricky.
Yeah, it must have been.
Yeah, totally.
No, thank you, man. You toss Exodus 90 on top of a quarantine, I'm out.
It's tough, man. Not easy. But like Ivan said, it's been bearing a lot of fruit, and you just find that time for intimacy. Each day, obviously, part of the program is having a holy hour, and just finding time. Like, obviously, we can't go to like the Blessed Sacrament, but you can go outside and be in nature and just quiet yourself and be with the Lord, and it's been amazing the moments that He's been calling us and challenging us during this time. It's been so good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, something really rooted in our identity too, because it's like, like even in Jesus's life, in his ministry. I was just reading about this the other day from not reading it. It was a talk at a virtual conference. Yes, that one. So they were talking a lot about, where in Jesus' life there was a lot of period in his public ministry where he just went away from everyone and just to go into prayer.
Yeah.
And there's actually an image, I can't remember the name of it right now, but yeah, it was literally an image of Jesus up against a rock, and he just had his head, his eyes closed up against the sky, and he's just there like embracing God's love. And it's like, that's such an integral part to our own identity, where we just have to be before we worry about what we do.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, now's the time.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Hey, brother. Listen, first off, for everybody that's joining in right now, we're joined by our brother Connor Flanagan. First feature of the band. We said in the beginning, he definitely helped us in the creation album, and we really appreciate him for being part of that. And actually, bro, I wanted to ask you, so people can get to know you a little bit better. So right now that you're besides being a musician, you're also you were a youth minister, right?
Yeah.
And are you still doing the youth ministry, or are you already kind of like doing music full time?
No, so I'm neither yet. So I was a youth minister for the past 8 years, and then just almost not 9 or 10 months ago, my plan out of college, right? My plan was to not leave parish ministry until I could jump into music full time. That's just kind of what the Lord was speaking to me, and what I was like, I loved what I was doing at the parish level, and I loved having a ministry to root myself in after I'd go out and do these shows and whatnot, to like actually come back. And not that music isn't a real ministry, but there's just something to coming back and leading a small group of 7 or 8 kids and really pouring into them, Right. But last year I had an opportunity got approached by a friend of mine who worked for this organization called St. Paul's Outreach SPO.
Mhm.
They partner with Newman Centers and do college campus ministry all over the country, and so they brought me on board as their director of marketing,
Awesome.
which was cool. It was a really good,
Nice.
it was a well timed shift for me. It's better for my family, even like the practicals of the commute and all that, and
Mhm.
it still allows me to travel probably even more
Mhm.
to continue to build my music and pursue that. So also it just sharpens a whole skill set that I've been using for my music, like being in design and Premiere Pro and all of these things. Like I'm in them all day now for my
Yeah,
job,
yeah.
and so I'm just learning. I'm just like soaking everything up as I go and trying to take some of that and pour it into the music too. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sharp
that's
toolbox, man. That's what
Yeah.
it's all about. And so,
Yep.
like you said, SPO is
For real.
around college campus ministries like all over the nation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's amazing. What a blessing. That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really good. It's been really good.
It's funny that you said that you've been working on, like, for example, like Premiere and like Photoshop and all that stuff. I feel like that's something that people don't really get to see, the behind the scenes stuff, especially
Oh.
indie artists that bro, I've been learning Photoshop and something. I'm like, man, sometimes I break my head over it. Like, okay, this
Oh,
does not look good.
bro, if there's anything that if there's anything that can make you feel like you're not good at life, it's like trying to learn like any of the Adobe suite. If you're just starting out, you feel like an utter failure trying
yeah.
to learn all that stuff.
I feel that. I've been learning it during this time period, trying to fill some space, and it's not easy. It's not easy in the streets. It's crazy.
Mhm.
Connor, let me ask
Yep.
you real quick. Being kind of obviously like something that's really cool is that you mix, acoustic with hip hop and also being like a hip hop artist in the Catholic kind of sphere. That must be, I mean, that dichotomy must be interesting, especially like there's a lot of we know that there's a lot of people in the hip hop side of things within like our Protestant brothers and sisters and whatnot. How is it like coming from the Catholic perspective as a hip hop artist? And also the dichotomy of also like including, the acoustic stuff in it and how it makes you unique.
Yeah. That's a great question. The acoustic stuff really is, I mean, when I started writing music in high school and into college, I had no production skills. I just literally had a guitar and I loved hip hop. And so I was like, all right, well, I'm going to put the two together because I've kind of no choice. I have nothing else to do. And in college, it was cool because it was, I went to Franciscan and everyone there plays guitar, a ton of worship leaders, a ton of singer songwriters, but no one who did what I was doing. And so I'd kind of get into play these coffee houses or these talent shows or whatever, and it would always stand out, even though I was by far vocally or even just musicianship, I was like one of the and I'm not saying this to be humble, like I was legitimately one of the least talented people, but I could rap, and so it stood out, So I'd get a friend of mine, Kateri Lang, for example, or Kateri Allen. She would come and sing the hook on a couple songs, and then I would rap. So I'd get a really solid vocalist to partner with me, and it was just cool. So people kind of started. There's some momentum behind it, and then just as that grew, and as I got connected with people and connected with producers, I met some people who helped me unlock kind of the music that I really wanted to make, which is the more produced stuff that I'm putting out now. But I still write. I mean, most of my songs start on the guitar.
That's amazing.
And then from just like a faith perspective, it's interesting because there's not really a lot of love. There's like, how do I want to say this?
I think I know what you're like trying to get to.
Well, I'm just there's not a lot of like there's not really a place for it in the Catholic Church. Like there's I've always I've described it to people as I'm the person that like everybody loves to have in their back pocket, but that very few people want to actually invest in. Right. So
Wow.
I'm a firm believer that like entertainment, like straight up joy entertainment is a necessity for these youth conferences and for larger events, but very few people like actually want to pay for it,
Right.
And shout out to all the conferences that have had me, that have invested or have given me a shot. Like, I'm so grateful.
Right.
But I've just noticed that it's like very few people value, whether it's hip hop, whether it's whatever, comedians, magicians, like whoever's kind of in that slot. I think very few people like actually value that part of a kid's experience at a conference. They see it as like, let's fill it with a talk, or let's fill it with so that part's kind of tough, because in the Protestant world, our Protestant brothers and sisters, you've got like the keynotes are like Lecrae and Andy Mineo and these guys who are just like killing it. They're so and that's a big thing on my heart, is I'm just like, it doesn't matter to me what denomination you are. I'm just trying to bridge the gap between God and culture.
Absolutely. Oh, that's so good.
And and I don't feel like the Catholic Church really desires that. If I'm honest, like they probably say they do, and there's definitely a movement. Catholic Creatives is doing a great job with that. There's some other people, but there's not like you guys like the bar that you guys have set for Catholic worship is so high. You know what I mean? And like it's so on par with like the sounds that not only like other worship music is sounding like, but cultural secular music, like the just the sound you guys have. Like that's one of the things I love so much about you guys, is you just haven't settled. Like you haven't you've listened to what the culture's creating, and you're like, okay, we're gonna match that. Like we're gonna match it.
That means the world, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, for real. I mean, that's the first thing. Whenever I recommend you guys to anyone, I'm just gonna. That's the first thing I kind of lead with, is like, they just like they have music that like is like good, like it like musically, not the lyrics, but like the music, like
it's an important piece to the puzzle.
So it's and I mean that in a really good way.
Thank you, man. Glory to God. Praise
So so for me, kind of my heart in it is I want to bridge the gap between our culture, and the Creator, but I also I want to be in that space, the Christian music space, because Matt Maher is really the only one who's there right now.
Right.
And there's no one there from hip hop standpoint. So
we've always talked about that too, that there aren't really any Catholic worship bands occupying that space in a big, in that kind of way.
Right.
Because the thing is, at the end of the day, like the more ears that are listening to the music, the more hearts that you're able to reach out to, right? And the more and the same way that you were talking about these and whatnot, we talk about the new evangelization, right? This youth movement of the Catholic Church, and it's alive, it's real, it's definitely real. You know what I mean? But the thing is that we need to be able to match what the culture is bringing, in a sense, right? But like also bring it to people in a way that's digestible and meet people where they are. Especially like we try to make our music a lot high school age, college age, students and that kind of stuff. People that are listening to the same music that we are. We're in our early 20s, my brother up here. My bad, Charlie. I had to expose you. But you know what I mean? We make music that we hear, and at the same time, we want to bridge that gap as well. And like you said, bridging that gap, not really depending on denomination per se, but more so the heart of God, right? Just allow Christ to be the center of everything that we do. Him to be at the heart of, anything that we put out. We want him to be the heart of it,
Yeah.
So
yeah, man, I feel that.
It's a huge thing for sure. So thank you so much for your kind words of, about what we're doing, because we're trying to bridge that gap as well. Like Matt Maher has done an amazing job of out here, like working with different artists like Stephanie Gretzinger and touring with Tomlin, and it's so amazing that he's out here fighting the good fight for Catholic artists like ourselves, who just want the world to know Jesus' name.
And it's not even like, for anyone who's listening to this who's from another denomination or whatnot, like it's not even like I feel like Catholics have something more to offer than anyone else. It's just like, for me personally, it's, as a kid, I went to all these Christian music festivals, and I just wanted to find an artist that was like me. And so I'd flip through these like CD booklets looking for like the bass player to be Catholic or somebody, and so for me it's more of like, I just want the church represented, like I want the church well represented. I want the faith in the church that I know to just be at that table with those people in that conversation to show that, like, hey, because, you know, I don't think Catholics are super well known for like dynamic, engaging, creative stuff, you know, and I just think we have so far to go, and um, you know, that's why, like, for me, I'm pretty protective about how I'm marketed and advertised. Like, I'd never want to be booked or marketed as a Catholic entertainer. I always tell people, like, hey, if I'm going to be a part of your conference, like, you have to like market it as a concert within your conference, because that goes a long way. Kids will leave that conference saying, hey, we went to a concert, if they see it advertised and marketed as a concert.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not there just to like play a couple cover songs and do some gimmicks and then leave to make some people happy. It's like, I really feel like I'm going to bring you a professional experience, you know? So
Yeah.
I feel like that's really an important aspect of especially creating that space, right? Because like in a sense, what we do is just create a space for God to enter, right? But I feel like the more of logistics behind it, like more attention that's paid in the background and all that stuff, like that also enhances that space that you create as an artist.
oh yeah,
Absolutely.
It's really important to be like, especially for people that are listening, to like just kind of keep that in mind when putting together an event or a worship night or a concert, is to just pay attention to the details, because man, those little things are like what everybody takes away from that event per se, right?
yeah,
Absolutely. And the joy factor that you mentioned, the joy factor is enormous. And that's something that we've always tried to really touch on within whenever we have some type of worship concert, any type of event. We want to remind people, especially because obviously our base comes majority from you know, our Catholic roots, you know what I mean? And so when we kind of introduce what we're trying to do and lead them, sometimes you know, our Catholic family like hasn't really experienced worship in a like any type of like kind of charismatic way. So we sometimes have to teach people how to worship in a sense, right?
yeah, man.
And so and how to
Good.
be free. Yeah, and how to be free, right? And so, but the joy factor is such an important part of what we like to always talk about, is that this faith is about joy. You know, this faith, this walk with the Lord is about joy. Yeah, there's going to be hardship, but at the end of the day, we're supposed to be rejoice and be glad. You know, I mean, the Lord is alive. You know, we just celebrated Easter, and that's the bit of our faith, right? And so this idea of joy and reminding people like, hey, listen, this faith is about joy. So let's be joyful. Let's rejoice. Let's play some songs we can move to, and also at the end of the day, have the heart of God in the middle of that space. You know.
Yeah.
Okay, wait.
Is Ivan? Yeah, there we go. Welcome back,
I'm alive.
You lost
a
it.
little bit.
yeah. Something acted up with my phone, but my computer. Sorry, actually, but I'm all good here.
You look even more athletic now, man.
What a miss.
Hey, so just to kind of like end off the live stream, just wanted to ask you like what are some of your future plans and some stuff that you kind of like working on to just kind of like make up for the fact that we just kind of locked down per se. Are you planning to release more music? Are you planning to do? I know you mentioned you maybe doing like some acoustic stuff. Like what do you got going?
Yeah, man, I've got like a ton of stuff that it's the to-do list just keeps getting bigger, which is is a problem. So kind of like immediate things is if the summer, if things open back up, I have 7 Christian music festivals booked for the summer.
Nice.
That's
Nice.
Yeah. I like
God.
Yeah, that was, I mean, it was a year's worth of cold calling and booking and all of this stuff. And so, I mean, God's hands over it. If it doesn't happen, I'm hoping it gets at least pushed back to next summer. But so that I'm looking forward to that. If that pans out, so that'd kind of be the immediate thing. And then between now and then, yeah, this house tour thing really just sparked my desire to release some acoustic versions of my songs. So that's gonna be something I'm doing. And then just writing. I mean, my goal for the summer was to have 10 to 15 like fleshed out demos done and ready to go in case, you know, I just had been really feeling like this summer was a summer of opportunity. And so if I were to meet somebody or if there was a connection made at one of these festivals, I could be like, I'm ready. Like, I just want to stay ready for when the Lord, flips that switch and things can kind of start to open up for me. So yeah, so just writing, honestly, the acoustic thing will be a pretty easy side thing. I can do maybe a song a night or something and get them out. But other than that, just like pouring into working on these songs, doing a lot more co-writing.
Awesome.
So things like that. Yeah.
Awesome, brother.
That's amazing to hear.
And hopefully we're included in that.
Whoa.
In the what?
Over here.
Wait, I
He's trying
included
to
in
say let's collaborate.
Oh, I've been asking for like 6 months now, man. Come on.
We'll talk, man. We'll talk.
That feature was one of the most fun that I've done. I remember when you guys sent me the track and I wrote to it. It was just like it was just a fun verse to write.
Yeah.
And secretly, I've been like, man, we got to shoot a video for that song, which would be super fun.
We've talked about doing some remixes too from that album as well. So it'd be interesting to like get some reimagined stuff on there and different things. We could do a lot of different things, but we can also do some new things as well.
Dude, we could. I mean, not to announce things that you guys are doing on a live stream, but we should do an iPhone music video for Saved by Grace. Have everyone just shoot their parts, mash it up.
Yo, yeah.
Hey, even if it never makes it live, just for us, I just want to see it.
Yeah.
Hey.
Leave it to the marketing genius. I love it.
You said something right there, bro. We've never actually played that song together live.
Never.
That's true.
Bro,
we need to get this done.
We've never done it. That's something that's got to be done.
That either means
right now.
That means one of two things. We either have to go to Minnesota or you got to come down to Miami.
Dude, I'm coming to Miami, man. Don't come up.
All right, guys. So you heard it right here. Some good stuff gonna come out soon. So we're praying for y'all. Keep praying for us. We're gonna keep working our thing. We're gonna keep working on music. Connor's gonna be working on music. We're gonna be getting together. So you'll see a lot of stuff coming out soon. So God bless you guys, and thank you all for tuning in. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one.